All right. Good. I guess good midday to you, folks. I heard that song in the gym this morning. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. Okay. So good midday to you. What I'd like to know, we're in a 5-day challenge, and I went over this morning and spoke to Tommy Davidson's real estate team. And if you've ever heard me talk about him, I have been his coach for 7 years. And he went from doing 35 transactions to about 250. And he's really doing it with a group of young kids that are, 18 to 25 years old. And he asked me to come over and kind of do a session for them on follow up and engagement and referrals. And I started that session off, guys, with percentages. And the percentage is average person is going to buy 4 to 7 homes in their lifetime. Every satisfied person should be worth almost 6 referrals. Okay. And how many of those deals would you like to get? Right. If you're in real estate or, this or that. And those are pretty consistent percentages about any industry. Every satisfied person could be worth as many as 6 referrals to you. So, but 98% of people never follow up and engage with the person they sold something to. Okay, so I really focused on flow and frequency, and they asked me how I was doing on selling this book, and I said, "Man, look at the amount of energy and attention and focus I've had on this one thing." Okay, and hopefully, what you're learning by watching me do this is you're learning how to exert an enormous amount of force and energy and attention on something to create leads and interest and opportunity, right? And that is activating your prey drive. I had a moment this morning when I was getting dressed because I'm in part of the GoPro challenges. I've been in the gym. I've been up about 4:20 every morning. I've been in the gym at 5 a.m. and I get back and spend time with my kids. And then I kind of get dressed and ready for the business day. And I had this moment this morning, this incredible prey drive moment of like, all right, man, I see a clear path for the insurance agency to grow. There's people I want to follow up with today. There's opportunity and possibility. That is prey drive, which is instinct, right? Now, where people fall off the wagon with that instinct is they let life, as my buddy Tim Story would say, knock the shout out of them. And they just don't have the second and third component, which is the persistence and the intensity to take those thoughts I had this morning and follow up on them. Okay. So how many of you would say, so follow up, Darren, is follow up on a dream, follow up on an idea. If you're following up with people, you're really following up to do what we're going to talk about today, which is connect. Okay. You're not necessarily calling people to sell them something. You're actually calling to connect with them. And you're calling, the other thing that you're doing is you're calling them to locate their ambitions. Okay. Money changes hands when problems are solved or ambitions are pursued. Okay. So a big part of the follow-up and what we're going to be talking about today is, is this concept of connecting to people. And I'm going to give you some real life examples of how I follow up with people who are on the fence or people who are in the red zone, which are people close to making a buying decision, or I follow up with people just to connect to see what they're trying to do. Okay. So the purpose of the follow-up is to help a person make a decision. It's to locate their ambition. It's to locate their problem. It is to take initiative to solve that problem. And that's really what I was teaching this young real estate team today. And every person in the room admitted they had done a poor job of follow-up. They really hadn't followed up like they should. They hadn't taken the initiative that they should. And I said, man, how much is it worth to you on a scale of 1 to 10 to really learn how to follow up correctly? Okay. And I said, but you're not calling, the word transaction means to discard. So you're not calling with a transactional mindset. You're really calling with a transformational concept. Transformation means I came to you confused. I didn't know what to do. And because of your knowledge and your skills and your desire and your confidence, your authenticity, I really walked away from you encouraged, feeling encouraged. And that word, Janet, means to give courage. Okay. The word discourage means to take away courage. So when I talk to people on the phone, what I'm trying to do is leave them in an encouraged state to take an action. Okay. And so today we're going to be talking about in this 5-day challenge, how do you connect to people? How do you really connect to people? So I want you to write this formula down. Okay. Number one, I initiate a lot of outbound effort. Okay. I initiate a lot of outbound effort. And initiate means to start. Inertia means to sit and wait on something to happen. So this morning, there's a gentleman in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I had a thought on. God said you could help him. I listened to my conscience. And so I text message him and I said, man, I got a bigger theme for you. I want to talk to you about today. He said, I'm busy, but I'm open. I initiate. See, I initiated that text message. Man, I want to talk to you about something. When I call him, the first thing I'm going to do is connect with him. Man, I see you doing big things on social media. You're growing. Looks like you're losing weight. Must be on a great health plan. And then I'm going to, after I connect with him, I'm then going to move into locating his ambition. Man, I got a real important question because I got a vision for you that I want to help you with. I see a bigger play for you, and it's this, but I want to hear, what are you trying to do? And in that, when I ask him what he's trying to do, he may say, Coach, I'm trying to do these 3 things. Okay. And once I have located that ambition, I have connected to him and he feels like it's an authentic connection. It's real. Okay. Now let me ask James Garcia. James Garcia, when I called you, did you feel like I was trying to sell you something, or you feel like I was trying to connect with you? And if you say sell you something, I'm gonna have to black you out of the call.
No, you were just trying to connect.
Okay. I just called and I talked to James. James, Eric White tells me you're serious. He tells me you're doing big things. Tell me a little bit about your team. Tell me what you're trying to accomplish. Tell me what your goals are. See, transaction is, man, I'm calling you to sell you an insurance policy. And here's the bad thing is, you can feel that. People can feel that. What I'm calling to do, Brett, today is just connect with you, man, and tell me what's going on. Tell me what you're trying to do. I don't know if I can help you or not, but the purpose of this phone call is just to connect with you. Because I hear real estate agents tell me all the time, man, what should I say to my past clients? Like, I don't know what to say. And I'm like, well, they're people. They got dreams. They got hopes. They got ambitions. If you were calling me, it may be, hey, Coach, man, I see you're in this big campaign to sell 10,000 copies of this book. How's it going? Is there a way I can help you? Tell me 2 or 3 of your top initiatives you're trying to get started on this year. Tell me what keeps you up at night. See, what I'm doing is I'm connecting with people. Now, to really connect with people, I did a whole series on this, I think last year, is you have to understand human nature. And human nature says there are 4 parts of a person's nature. Body, that's physical. Mind, that's mental. Heart, that's emotional. Spirit, that's spiritual. Okay. And when you get into connection, you're going to get into agape love, which is a deep sense of awareness. Okay. Last night, there was a young lady, this is a real life example, who's looking at getting in my coaching program. I was looking to see if she was on here. And she's going to invest about $8,000 in coming to Person of Interest and the Micheal Burt School of Speaking, Coaching, and Writing. And every ounce of her being wants to do it, but she's afraid. And she said to me, man, I've got kids and I'm scared to death. I have never invested over $1,000 in my personal development in my life. And I called her 7 o'clock at night, and I called her and I said, hey, I know you're scared. But let me ask you a question. How many deals are you going to do? I'm going to do 36 deals. Could it be that you don't know how to do 50 deals? Could it be that you have been coached by the right person that can show you how to get to 75 deals? Could it be, right, that because you've only invested $1,000, you've got $1,000 worth of coaching in your life, right? And what if I helped you pick up 5 or 15 more deals? Is that possible? Yeah, it is possible. Okay, I know you're scared. I know you're afraid. but you're in good hands with me because this is what I do for a living. And it's not uncommon for people to get this much increase when I work with them. So, but I can't help you until you commit to something. So this is going to stay a dream you have inside of you, an ambition to grow and expand and get better until you take that action. And I know this scares you, but many times when something scares you, man, you need to take an action. We had so we shared some good moments of connection. She told me a little bit about her past, her fears. See, what I'm really doing there is connecting to her heart and her spirit. Okay, not just the physical part of, man, hey, that there's a transaction here. The word transact means to discard. Remember that. When I get into dreams and ambitions and hopes and fears, what we're really doing is connecting to a person's hopes and dreams. That's part of the heart, the mind, and the spirit. And that is a deeper sense of connection. See, agape love is a deep sense of awareness of what other people need. Okay. So if you really want to get into connection, okay. And if I were to look up, because I study the meaning of words, when I look up agape love, let's just see what it says. What is the meaning of agape? Is agape love unconditional? Borrowed from the Greek word charity. Borrowed from the Greek word for charity, or the love of a parent for a child. Okay. Selfless love, whether between human beings or between humans and God. See, agape is I care about you as a person. I'm not here to sell you something. I'm here to help you. And my whole objective of this phone call is to connect with you and listen to your ambitions. And then I want to show you a clear path, what's called a bridge between your ambition and your future. Okay. And how I can help you with that future. Okay. So I want you to think, one way to show agape love is through what's called intrinsic validation. So when she would talk about something, I would say, tell me more about that. Unpack that a little bit more. Help me to understand how that had effect on you, positive or negative. Tell me why you're afraid of this. What is it that you're really afraid of? See, what I'm doing is I'm pulling out these feelings and I'm going, look, we have the knowledge, we have the skill, we have the desire, and we have the confidence to help you. But we cannot help you until you overcome this fear. So I say, find their fear and give them courage. Okay. Find what they're afraid of and give them a shot of courage. And you got to have enough courage and confidence for you and them. Okay. So Pray Drive, when I'm studying the habits of the top 1%, the top 1% of people have incredible connection skills. Now, and I want you to write down the word inclusion. They are masters at including other people's talents. Okay, I'm gonna give you 2 examples here that hopefully trigger something in your mind. I called an assistant coach over at MTSU, which is a local university, and I said, me and my daughter are gonna be coming to a basketball game on Thursday night. And he said, great. Okay. And then this morning, I got a phone call from the head coach, Rick Insell. And he said, understand you coming to the game tomorrow night. He said, I'm going to get you a private parking pass behind the tunnel. I'm going to have somebody call you to take care of you, whatever you need. I'm going to get you 2 front row seats on the floor. And I want you to bring you and your daughter into the locker room before the game. Okay. Now, did he have to do that? No, he's the head coach, for God's sake. But guess what he knows? He said, I want you to be here. More importantly, I want other people to see that you're here, right? Because he understands the concept of inclusion, connection. Now, how do you think I feel about him when he called me and said that? When he took just 3 or 4 minutes this morning and said, hey, I want you to sit in the front row. I'm going to get you a parking pass. I'm going to have somebody take care of you. I'm going to treat you like a VIP. I want you to come in the locker room before the game. Okay. Now, that is connection. Does that make me want to fight harder for him or less for him? See where I'm going? So the greats have this concept of inclusion. Okay. And it's very, very important that you understand that. Now, I was going to one church and I left that church to go to another church. And I was only there for, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks. And one day I was leaving church and the pastor, this guy named Brady Cooper, he called me over and he said, Coach, number one, thank you for coming to church here. He said, man, you got an incredible talent of coaching people. And I want to include those talents in our church. He said, we're really underserved on the business side. Would you kind of help me with the businessmen of our church? Would you come in and teach some classes for them? I want to get you speaking at this. Now, what was he doing? He was including my talents. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think that built a stronger connection to him or a weaker connection? See, when you're thinking about connection, how many of you have kind of a BS meter when you think people are not real and authentic? How many of you kind of can feel that? Okay. And how many of you can say, you know what, this person cares about people. They want to help people. They're in this for the right reasons, right? Okay. So what you're sensing there is this connection to the heart and the spirit, and the brain has a part of the brain that's called the alligator brain, which is literally afraid of everything. Like it wakes up every morning and it senses when there's danger, when there's trouble. When we were kids, they call it stranger danger. Remember that? And something doesn't seem right. And it's like, oh, this person really don't care about me. They're just trying to sell me something, man. And then you can say, this person seems real. They seem authentic. They are connecting with my heart and my spirit. So I want you to think deep in every person's heart and in their mind and in their spirit are dreams, goals, ambitions, desires, bigger futures. The number one way you can help those people is to locate those dreams and ambitions and fears. So if you look at my formula, I initiate. Man, I woke up today. I had a strategy for you. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing. I see you're doing big things. Then I move into, you tell me what you're trying to do so I can locate your ambition. And then I make a recommendation, almost like a doctor making a recommendation to take an action. And what that includes is an invite or an offer for them to go deeper. Okay. Now this is very important, what I'm telling you. Sometimes you invite people to something. That's why I do so many things. I want to invite you to sit in on this session. I want to offer you the ability to get an opportunity to see this. I want to invite you to this thing I do every single day called Pray Drive, GoPro Challenge. If you don't have something to invite people to, then the conversation ends and there's like there's no forward movement. There's no forward momentum. There's no energy. That's why I was telling those real estate agents, you should be having things to invite people to. You should be following up with them after the sale. You should be engaging and saying, man, I love working with you. Who else do I need to be working with? Like flow, frequency. And this only works if you care about people. This only works if you really care about people. Because if not, it's going to seem very transactional. Okay. On the other end of that line is a person. On the other end of that Zoom is a person, and they got hopes and dreams and goals and fears. And if you don't master the art of connection, and you don't master this concept of agape love and intrinsic motivation, and you don't connect them to their bigger future, and you don't build a bridge, then they don't move forward with you. Okay. Now I'm going to use an example here. I'm on real estate today, but I'm going to use a real estate example. I went down to Chattanooga to look at real estate properties, and I wanted to do a retreat site. And the agent has been sending me, retreat sites, retreat properties, all those things. And that's okay. But there's another layer of connection here. The agent could call and say, why do you want to come to Chattanooga? What really gets your blood pumping, Coach? Is it being on the water? Is it being in the mountains? Are you seeing this being a 5-bedroom or a 6-bedroom? Is it an old house or a new house? What happens that's so magical at those retreats you do? Okay. Why do you want to bring it here? Like, look at the layers of depth he could be going, but instead it's very transactional. It's like, I'm going to send you some houses, look at them, tell me if you like them. There's really no connection. As soon as I had my third child, Emmeline Rose, he could have called me, man, congratulations on having your daughter. I'm so proud of you. I know it's your third daughter. What's her name? Emmeline Rose. Why did you name her Emmeline Rose? Well, my daughter, my first daughter, when she was 3 years old, she was holding the baby, and she said, I'm holding my baby sister, and her name is Emmeline Rose, right? That's why we named our daughter Emmeline Rose, Emmy Rose, because Ella Grace had that vision of having a sister named Emmeline Rose. Now, look at how we're connecting when he calls me versus just sends me properties. Everybody see the difference? One is cold and transactional. One is connecting. Okay, be like Kelly Eisler calling saying, hey, how's your child doing? I know you're struggling with this. Are they paying better attention? You know, we got some new things coming up that can really help. Are you open to some one-to-one? Right? It's all getting out of this business of transaction and getting into this business of transformation. Okay. When I wrote Person of Interest, it says that in the very first chapter, you are in the business of transformation, which means people come to you one way, confused, fearful, anxiety, doubt, insecurity. They leave you another way, confident, clear, encouraged, on fire. Okay. How many of you think you'll ever go wrong by encouraging other people? Right? You're never going to go wrong by giving courage to other people, folks. And so when you think about this concept, Sean Shallis, every mortgage has a person. Okay. And what I'm trying to get you to do is just slow down and think. Now, Craig is on here. He's going to come on in a minute. And I'm going to tell you something that if he were coaching, you know, he's got Rockbox. There was a coaching point this morning for one of his trainers. She's really good. But this morning I struggled through my workout, guys. I don't know if it was just day 2. I'm not eating a lot of calories right now, so I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of calories in me. So man, I literally struggled at every station of my workout this morning. I was bent over. I just couldn't make it through the workout. I mean, I made it through it, but I struggled through it. Okay. Now let me show you what a person who's very skilled at connection says. Jimmy, Coach, I noticed you really struggled today in your workout, man. Is everything okay with you? Because I typically don't see you struggle this much, right? Are you eating enough? Are you eating enough? Or is there something going on I need to know about as your trainer? Okay, now this young lady's only, I don't know, 19, 20 years old, so she don't know this. But when I see a person struggling, I don't shame them and say, well, man, you sucked at your workout today, man. What's wrong with you? Toughen up. What I say is, man, I noticed you wasn't quite on your A game this morning, but you made it through. That's a big win. What can I do? What can I do to make sure? Is anything going on with you I need to know about, Coach? See, that is agape. Agape is instead of your natural nature shaming a person or grinding on them, it's like, hey, man, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? Okay. So this is how the high level people communicate. Does everybody see that? Low level people, it's very transactional. Workout. See you tomorrow. Okay. Every person, right? I want you to just really focus on your connection skills and having an awareness when another person is fearful, they got anxiety, they're scared. I want you to acknowledge that, man. I know this seems scary to you right now. I get it, man. I went through the same process. What can I do to help you through this? Okay. So Craig, how does connection play to the body? Because we're trying to get people to go pro physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I think how many of you could get better at this connection piece? Everybody could. Okay. Coach Breeden, I guarantee the top recruiters in the world, if you traveled with them, you'd see. I remember if even Phil Fulmer, I remember meeting Phil Fulmer for the first time at Tennessee. Never met him before. Man, he was good. He was so good with people. How you doing, man? Good to see you. What's your name, coach? Where do you coach at? Man, I know I heard about you. Like these people, John Maxwell is great at connection. Like the top people in the world are so good at connecting to people. Like it really will blow your mind how good they are. Right. So Craig, talk us through how this affects the body and the physical component.
Well, I think when you speak about it, you say, you know, you want to do something for others, but I think the first thing you need to do, and when we started the audit, you know, and I want to kind of keep on topic with Coach here, is that you have to look back at all the influences and all the things that you see the world through, which lens that is, right? But what you also need to do, the very first thing in any kind of transformation or a way to go beyond yourself, is to give up those regrets, to give up on those people that you hurt you. There's a way to say it is get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, and slander, along with everything from malice, and be kind and compassionate. Because if you can give up all of the negativity that you're spewing out into the world, you have the ability to open up an area within your mind, within your heart, within your soul, and within your body to just work on you. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you are going to be the vessel, in my opinion. We talked a little bit about this yesterday as far as like what that intrinsic value is for you. But if you can go and actually be the vessel for somebody else, there's a deep sense of fulfillment in there. And many of you guys don't strive towards or think that that's something that you should in your life, is to find a deep sense of fulfillment in whatever it is that you do. But I got to say to you guys, you're going to find so much more energy and determination and grit and resilience when it's not just you. And a lot of this happens when you're making a transformation of knowledge, or transfer, a better way to say it is of knowledge, of effort, of energy, of agape love to somebody else, and showing you that you care. You know, how many people, you know, as a kid grew up, you're like, I want all the toys. But as an adult, you're like, I want to just see someone open a gift that I've given them. I want to basically just watch, you know, the expression on someone's face when they receive something that I was able to transfer them. Coach and I, and many of the people on this call, coach into other people, or basically speak into someone's life, or manage or lead. And how good does it feel when you see somebody get something that they've worked for? And so it's that general sense of purpose and fulfillment that's going to actually lead into your life as well. So when he's talking about the body, it just opens up a sense of, you can call it energy, you can call it, you know, there's a lot of different ways to call it in different, you know, spiritual references. But I mean, once you're good with you, you have the chance to feel again. You have the chance to understand how your body is going to basically handle stress. It's not going to be as anxiety stricken as most of us make it seem to be, because most of the time we're sitting there in worry and anxiety and having stress high, cortisol high. We're probably not going to be operating properly. Our glucose isn't going to be, you know, ingested properly into the bloodstream. And then we're going to be sensed where we can get into the nutrition side of it. I don't usually nerd out on the nutrition side, but with high anxiety, stress, and cortisol and things of that nature, you can't run efficiently as you are expected to. You know, those are fight or flight moments where your basically goes up, stress is high, outside factor, you know, pushes that up. But if you're running all day long in a stressful, high environment, your body's not going to be able to properly digest food, you know, rest itself. You're not going to sleep as well. And all of these things are going to go into the body. And I know, you know, this whole series is looking at like the full completion of like you as a human. And, you know, a lot of us are in this room because we want to do better in our businesses. But if you think that alone can make you happy, make you fulfilled, can make you feel good about it, can make you live another day longer, it's not going to be able to do that. All it is one vessel, one tool in a toolbox that's going to help you get there. So I always look at like, you know, what lever do I have to pull for a client? Many of you know that I do coaching. There's, I believe Josh is on here. I think him and I will kick off our first session today. You know, I do executive coaching. I do kind of mental and mindset coaching, and I do physical transformations as well. And each one of those things has its place. And each one of those things is we're going to go down a lever or basically different frames and levels inside of somebody, and trying to find out what's stopping them. So I was listening to, what was I listening to last night? One of the books, I think it was The Gap in the Gain. I'm on my literally second read through. I love this book with Dan Sullivan, and there's another guy narrating it. And they said, well, once you decide what it is that you want, you're going to have to decide now, what are you going to give up? Have you guys ever thought about that? You guys have got to realize that if I'm going to go after something, something also has to leave from my life, whether that's a distraction, or whether that's a social event, or whether that's a food that I like, or whether that's, you know, if it's money, then I might be giving up time, or I might be giving up something somewhere. But you guys got to understand everything, you know, has space in the world. And you got to say, if I'm going to create space over here, what am I taking away from that area that I just, you know, provided for? So I want you guys to really think about, you know, your life as far as the emotional state is a place that you need to be. If you find yourself too high in stress, too high in anxiety, too high in confidence, when you're, or not too high in confidence, but too low in confidence, it's your duty to get yourself right. And if you don't think so, if you're just going to continue to live day in and day out in this place where you're just like, I'm not happy, I don't like the way I look about my body, my marriage blows, this, that, and the other thing, like, those are things that you need to work towards. And too many of us just basically put them on the back burner because we're too busy doing for everyone else. And that doing for everyone else doesn't actually fulfill us. It's just work, or it's just things that are taking up space in our lives. So I think what Coach is trying to get in here is saying, when you actually care for those people that you're actually doing things for, and it's not seen as work, but it's seen as a way to enhance their life. And in doing so, I can bring joy, fulfillment, passion, purpose, resilience into my life. You're going to just transfer the way that you see the same thing. Literally, you can have somebody record a video of you interacting with someone in one way and do it again another. And to the naked eye, you're not going to see a difference, but the value and transfer that you have in going from that transactional response back and forth to somebody else can be completely different. And that's why it's not always great. I had a call with, I don't know if she's on here. I coached somebody in the Master the Stage group yesterday, and she was talking about her underdog. If you're on here, raise your hand. But we literally talked about like the underdog story. And I know she had a call with you, Coach, on Monday with the office hours. Yeah. And we talked a little bit about just like her story and what that was. And I came to the conclusion, everyone says, the story is so important, but I'm going to say, likely the story that you tell about yourself is not the way someone else sees it. So is it fair to say that the stories that we see are not the thing that we need to go after, but the fulfillment on how we want to make people feel and how we want to feel within our stories? There's a whole piece that we can get into here, and you're going to hear a lot more of Coach and I speaking about this. When if you do actually want to, get with us in the GoPro challenge, it's going to be a Super 60 challenge. So 60 days, and we'll give you more details as we wrap up the week here. But I really just want to come on the backside of this is saying, like, the emotional state that you're in can really determine your faith, your fitness, your health, and your productivity in your business. All of those things go hand in hand. And I kind of want to leave you with kind of a quote that I've been, running, to right now. It says, "Stop running from hell, but bring heaven to it." You have the ability to actually bring something into a situation. What is it that you can actually bring and fulfill in life, in your own life, as well as in someone else's? So don't think of the world as a place that you have to react or respond to, but how can I actually be, purposeful in my actions and daily, the way that I make somebody feel and the way that I make myself feel.
All right. I know we're a few minutes over here. I do pray drive for lunch on Wednesday at 12:30 on Wednesday. So you're welcome to step over to that meeting. I do want to leave this group with this. The word exchange comes to my mind. I did a whole series on purpose, and purpose is really the exchange of your talent to help another person with their ambition. And it is through that exchange that you get purpose. Your talent is really not that valuable unless it's utilized to help another person. Okay. So through that exchange, that connection, that's another word for connection, exchange. That's why you hear me use the word a lot. It is through that exchange of which you have a sense of purpose, because you realize you're using your talents and skills to help another person reach their goals. That is the ultimate exchange. Okay. So great session today, guys. We're challenging you to go pro. I'm about to jump over and do another one called Pray Drive for Lunch. It's every Wednesday. I'm going to get into some different parts of Pray Drive in the book that I haven't talked about. We can play pitch and catch over there. So if you want to jump on over there to that call, Eric will post it in here. We will be offering a GoPro challenge here coming up. That'll be physical and mental, that we're going to be bringing to the marketplace here for the first of the year. So great call today. I appreciate you. Everybody needs a coach in life. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for always committing. And let's keep pushing this thing across the finish line. Okay. See you on the other call if you jump over there with me.